Hello everybody, today we are going to discuss about Indian civilization and culture. So, if we talk of Indian civilization and compare it with the Western civilization, there are lots of things which stand out in this comparison. And I must say that Indian civilization and Western civilization, they have their certain parameters, they have their certain beliefs, and they have their own foundations. But the Western civilization, there have been many civilizations in the Western part of this globe, but they have all declined and they have all gone and perished. But Indian civilization has withstood the test of time, the passage of time. This civilization is still going strong on its foundation, though of course with the passage of time there have been changes, people are changing, adopting new things, but that is of course change is inevitable and it is the part of nature and it must go on. But the basics are still there, the foundation which our ancestors have laid, that foundation is still strong and we have built the edifice upon that. Because our civilization is actually based on morality, moral strength, and the Western civilization is about the multiplicity of wants. And that is the reason if we talk of the foreign or Western civilizations, like you may take Babylonian civilization, you may take Syrian civilization, you may take Egyptian civilization, you may take many other such civilizations, the Roman Empire. So they have all gone before a fall, they have all fallen and declined and degenerated and perished. But Indian civilization is still there and still strong on its foundation. Now, there has been a blame on Indian people and civilization that Indian people are quite stolid. They are slow learners and they don't accept the change, they don't change themselves. But this is something like a merit for ourselves, for we people, because we don't like or we don't accept the changes that are considered wrong, and we don't like to change those things which have been tested on the anvil of experience. Yes, so our ancestors and our generations have tested the things for generations, for a long time, and those things which are now set and determined by say generations and lots of people. So how can we change those things? It's not easy, or it's not right to change those things, because they have proved their mettle, they have proved that yes, they are correct, and that is the reason we don't accept changes so easily. So that may be a blame on us, but yes, we must say that that is our merit, that we don't easily let go the things which are tested and passed on the anvil of time. And if we talk of the meaning of civilization, the Gujarati meaning of civilization means good conduct. And yes, that is the soul of our civilization, good conduct, that we must have uplifted moral beings, we must be morally strong. That is actually the strength of our civilization, keep it going in a strong manner. And it's not that actually if we talk of the happiness of people, satisfaction of people, so the satisfaction, happiness, all this is actually a mental state. Now people in Western civilization, they are running after material things. So it's not that only having riches means happiness, or it's not that all the rich people of the world are always happy and all the poor people of the world are always unhappy or sorrowful. It is a state of mind. The rich people are also having problems, they are also having sorrows and troubles and tribulations, and the poor people are happy as well. The poor people of course might have sorrows and problems, still the happiness is also there. So it is a mental state, it is not related to material things or money or riches or wealth, and our ancestors knew this thing very well, and that's why we have those things of the past even now. Even today we use the plow we used in those times. Even today we have those kinds of huts and cottages we had in the olden times. We even today still we have those kind of say arrangements which we have had in old times. Of course now with the passage of time the cities have got changed. Now they have got separated from the villages, and cities have different kind of systems and arrangements, and villages have different kind of systems and arrangement, and the civilization has been kept intact and strong in the villages, not in the cities. And our ancestors knew this thing very well, and they knowingly avoided these intrusions of modern things in our life, the modern civilization in our lives, and they preferred to do the things instead of using machines and becoming the slaves of machines. They preferred to do things with their hands and legs, whatever can be done physically using our strength, using our body, that is better for us rather than becoming the slaves of machines. Otherwise it was not that we couldn't invent, we could, and we have, and we are going better in those technical lines as well. Still, that is not the end of our civilization, that is not the motto of our civilization. Our civilization still prefers morality and moral upliftment. Our ancestors and our people said that these cities, the big cities, they are actually a snare. They are an encumbrance, a burden, and there the rich people loot and rob the poor people. So that kind of system, there is prostitution, all evils flourishing, all vices flourishing. That is what we find in the cities, whereas in villages we have a different system. So our people actually kept fakirs and sages, these kinds of people, above the rulers, the kings, the pharaohs. These sages were kept above them, they are considered above them. That because again I must say, the restriction of wants, that is something very difficult, as was considered by our people, and still today we follow the same premise, we follow the same principle, that restriction of wants is more important, that is rather more difficult than following the material lines or just engaging in the mad rush after material possessions and riches and awards and rewards and all such things. So that arrangement we had in our old times, that fakirs and sages, they were considered above the rulers, above their sword, above their power, and above their empire. In villages we had, it's not that we didn't have doctors or we didn't have lawyers, we had all this system, we had justice system as well, and justice was tolerably fair in those times. People got justice. The doctors and lawyers, they were dependent on the people, they were not considered superior to the people. Today it is, of course, the situation has got changed, or in we can say in western parts it is not like that. The doctors and lawyers, they are considered superior to the common people. In India, Indian civilization, they were like dependent on the people. They were to serve the human beings, the mankind, not to rule them and not to loot people. They were to offer their services. That was what our civilization taught us. And apart from these things, if we can compare the civilization on one more ground, that the Western civilization is about or is godless. The Western civilization is godless, whereas our civilization, Indian civilization, is based on the belief, firm faith or belief in God. Indian civilization uplifts the moral being, whereas modern or Western civilization is, it propagates immorality. So if we follow this Western civilization, it will be a ruin for the Indian people. Now it should be, it's not that we should hate Western civilization. I am not the hater of Western civilization, and it should not be. Though we may say that this comparison is useless, but it's not totally unnecessary. We can learn something. So Western civilization can teach us very important things, and the most important things that we can learn from Western civilization is to avoid it as far as possible, because it is simply worshipping the brute, the savage, the animal in us. So if we want to go in that line, just forgetting all humanity, forgetting the essential values of a man, a person, then of course you may try going after Western civilization. But if you feel that humanity is more important, if you feel that we must serve the mankind, then Indian civilization teaches us that how human values are more important, and we should not go after the material things. And it may be, of course, it may be good for the Western people, the European people, so they should follow it, okay, they should go after it, there is no problem. But this civilization is not for Indian people. So Indian people must stick to their roots and they must follow their things, because only that way they can go ahead in the world and can prove the superiority of the rest of the world. Of course, we can say there are several inventions by this modern civilization. There are several things, and they are too maddening to resist that of course we can't. They are so full of temptations that it is difficult to resist these things. But if they have made wonderful discoveries and inventions in science, then of course Indian civilization, we people have made marvelous and wonderful discoveries in the lines of spirituality, in the lines of religion. There we are quite ahead of these people, and that is where lie the roots of mankind and this the civilization of the world. So that is far more important, and that is what that can keep us survive in this world. So it has made us survive in this world so far, and it will take us ahead of all the other civilization if we really stick to these roots. So instead of multiplying our wants, we must learn to restrict our wants, because by restricting our wants we can live longer, we can live a good life, we can live a strong life. And I remember a statement, a quote made by a Western philosopher, that we should follow simple living and high thinking. Of course, because running after golden fleece of Western civilization is not for we people. It will only ruin us, it will bring an end to our civilization. So it is simply like courting death. So it is better that we avoid courting death by following the Western civilization. Our civilization has proved itself better than all the other civilizations in the world, and the proof is quite enough that the proof is there that we have our civilization. If we look back, if we go to our villages, you will find those huts, you will find the heap of cow dung still there. The way it has been in the olden times, people are still living that way in our villages. So that is how, by restricting their wants, by enjoying their life even in the limitations of certain things, and that is what we must do. We must live simple, in a simple manner, and we must think high. But those who are expected to think high, they are going after high living, and they miss this high thinking. Many people are of course poor in the country, in the world, and that poverty perhaps is lingering, may linger, but we must try to find happiness by sticking to high thinking as well. And this is what our civilization, this Indian civilization, teaches us. So I must say that restricting all your wants, you can live a better life, and you can survive, or you can outlive all the other civilizations, all the other people. So if we keep the spirit of simple living and high thinking, and follow our roots and follow our civilization, we can outshine any other civilization, any other country in this world. So that's all about Indian civilization and culture, and this is what Mahatma Gandhi expressed in his essay on civilization and culture. I hope you understood this, and I hope it might be plain sailing to you. And I included my own views as well in this, my own notions on Indian civilization and culture in this. So I'll come up with more such videos on different topics. So till then, thank you very much.